Alex was not the kind of person who thrived in social situations. He was a human engineer working on the sprawling space station Aurora 9, a hub where hundreds of alien species traded, repaired ships, and shared knowledge. Alex loved machines, wires, and logic. People not so much. Yet somehow, in the middle of a bustling alien crowd, he always managed to attract attention, sometimes the wrong kind. The station was alive with motion. Hover carts zipped through corridors, carrying cargo crates that hummed with energy. Aliens with strange colors, multiple limbs, and glowing eyes wandered past, chatting in languages Alex didn't understand. Some smelled faintly of minerals, others had voices like wind chimes. It was a lot to take in for any human, but Alex had learned to focus on what mattered: machines. Today, he was repairing a small energy conduit near Docking Bay 7. Sparks flew from the exposed wires, and the hum of the station's core vibrated in his chest. He was just about to finish when a strange voice spoke from behind him. "Do you always work like that, human? Or are you trying to break the station?" Alex jumped. He turned and saw her. Lyra. She was tall for her species, slender, with long, silver hair that shimmered in the station lights. But the first thing Alex noticed, and could not forget, was her tail. It was long, almost 3 meters, covered in soft scales that changed colors with her mood. Right now it was a bright blue, which he guessed meant curiosity. He blinked. Hi, I'm Alex, and no, I don't try to break things, usually." He forced a smile, feeling awkward. Lyra tilted her head, her tail flicking behind her. "Usually?" she asked. The words were melodic, almost musical, but her tone hinted at amusement. Alex laughed nervously. He wanted to break the tension, so he did what any human might in that situation. He pointed at her tail. "Nice tail," he said, grinning. It was meant as a joke. He thought maybe she'd laugh and move on. She froze. Alex noticed her tail shimmered in an unexpected pattern, bright gold streaks across the silver. His stomach sank. "Interesting," she said slowly. Then loudly so that the nearby crew could hear, she announced, "This human is now my husband for 7 days." Alex's jaw dropped. His eyes went wide. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. "Husband? 7 days?" The nearby alien stopped to stare. A few hovered closer, curious. "What did he just say?" Alex heard muttered in unfamiliar tongues. Alex waved his hands frantically. "Wait, no, I was joking, I didn't mean that." But Lyra only laughed, a musical, ringing sound that made him feel both nervous and strangely charmed. "No, human, the agreement is official. Your words triggered the tail compliment bond in my culture. 7 days. You are now my husband." Alex felt sweat prick his forehead. He looked around for help, but the crew just smirked. Some were stifling laughter. Others were openly whispering, clearly entertained by his misfortune. He pinched the bridge of his nose. "This is unbelievable. I didn't know complimenting a tail. I didn't know it meant marriage." Lyra twirled her tail, making it shimmer like a silver ribbon under the lights. "You should have known, human. Every compliment is serious in my culture. Every word carries weight." Alex groaned. "Why didn't anyone tell me this before?" "Because you are human," Lyra said lightly, her voice teasing. "Humans never understand anything until it happens to them." Alex slumped against the energy conduit, which hummed and vibrated as if mocking his misery. He was stuck. 7 days, being called a husband, by an alien with a tail that seemed to have a mind of its own. "Fine," he muttered. 7 days, but I swear I'll survive this." Lyra's eyes sparkled with amusement. "Oh, human, you will do more than survive. You will learn." And so the 7-day agreement began. The first hour was awkward. Everywhere Alex went, someone, or something, reminded him of his married status. The station's AI, programmed to adopt cultural protocols for aliens, politely addressed him as Husband Alex whenever he logged into the station's terminals. The cafeteria worker, a 4-armed alien with sparkling purple skin, handed him a tray and said, "Husband, you will enjoy the special today. Tail accepted portions only." Alex sat down, feeling like the world had turned upside down. He pushed his food around nervously. Lyra joined him, her tail curling elegantly around her chair. Every flick seemed to punctuate his embarrassment. "So," Lyra said, sipping a drink that shimmered with neon colors, "how does it feel to be a husband?" Alex swallowed hard. "We just met. This is very sudden." "I barely know you." Lyra's tail twitched, a shade of gold moving into green. "That is irrelevant. Our culture does not require familiarity. The bond is ceremonial and binding. You will learn respect, patience, and cooperation, and perhaps enjoyment." Alex blinked. "Enjoyment? I highly doubt I'll enjoy this. My idea of fun is fixing machines and watching circuits hum." "Then your idea of fun will change," Lyra said, smiling. "Starting now." She handed him a small, glowing device. "This is a tail practice simulator. You must learn to respond to tail signals. If you fail, minor consequences will follow." Alex took the device, unsure whether to laugh or cry. "Minor consequences? Like what?" "A tickle from your tail," Lyra chuckled. "Perhaps, or public embarrassment. You will find out." And indeed, over the next hour, Alex discovered that Lyra's tail was more than decorative. It was a communication tool, expressing emotions and instructions. He failed the simulator multiple times, setting off a small alarm and drawing curious stares from passing aliens. Each failure made Lyra laugh, her tail flicking in delight. By mid-afternoon, Alex was exhausted but learning. He realized that humans, for all their simplicity, had a unique ability to improvise and adapt. He applied this to the tail simulator, managing to complete simple sequences. Lyra nodded approvingly, her tail glimmering in shades of green and gold. "You are not as hopeless as I thought," she said. "Perhaps humans are cleverer than I assumed." Alex smiled weakly. "Thanks, I think." Before he could relax, the station's alarm blared. A minor power fluctuation threatened docking bay 7, the very area where he had been working that morning. Alex's instincts kicked in. He dashed to the site, with Lyra following closely. The situation required quick thinking. Energy conduits had overloaded, and the bay doors were unresponsive. Most aliens panicked, unsure what to do. Alex, however, analyzed the circuits and started rerouting energy manually. Lyra assisted, her tail glowing as she coordinated with him silently, signaling which wires to connect. Within minutes, the crisis was averted. The bay doors closed safely and the power stabilized. Several aliens clapped. Lyra looked at Alex, her tail coiling proudly. "You did well, husband," she said, her tone proud, not teasing. Alex rubbed the back of his neck, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and pride. "I guess humans can be useful sometimes." "Yes," Lyra said, "and perhaps useful humans make the best partners even for 7 days." Alex groaned inwardly. 7 days, and this was only the first. He had a feeling that surviving the remaining 6 would be even more challenging and more unpredictable. As the day ended, Alex sat in his quarters, staring at the ceiling. The memory of the joke that started it all, the words "nice tail," made him both laugh and cringe. 7 days, a joke, a tale, a marriage, he sighed. Maybe, just maybe, this adventure could teach him something about patience, culture, and friendship. But for now, he was still terrified of the next day, when Lyra would likely have another husband task ready. The tail shimmered softly outside his window, a reminder that the week ahead would be unforgettable. And Alex, for better or worse, was officially a husband. The next morning, Alex woke up feeling the weight of his husband duties before he even opened his eyes. He lay in his small quarters, staring at the ceiling, wondering how a simple joke could lead to this. 7 days. 7 full days of navigating an alien culture that he barely understood, under the watchful eyes of Lyra. He rolled out of bed, stretched, and grabbed his uniform. Today, he knew, would be different. Lyra had already sent a message through the station's network. "Husband, be ready for training at 900, tail awareness first." Alex groaned. tail awareness. He had barely survived the simulator yesterday. The thought of another exercise with Lyra's expressive tail made him nervous. Still, there was no avoiding it. By 900, Alex was waiting in the station's recreation hall. It was a large, open space with zero-gravity zones, hover platforms, and interactive holo displays. Various aliens were practicing skills, doing exercises, or chatting in clusters. Lyra arrived in a swirl of silver and gold light, her tail flicking confidently. She stopped in front of Alex and bowed slightly, tail coiling elegantly behind her. "Good morning, husband," she said, smiling. "Today's lesson is communication through the tail, understanding moods, signals, and intentions. Pay attention, it is essential." Alex swallowed hard. "Right, communication, got it." Lyra clapped her hands, and a small holographic interface appeared. On it, images of her tail shifting colors in different patterns were displayed. Red meant warning, blue meant curiosity, green meant agreement, and gold meant happiness or trust. More complex sequences indicated instructions or emotional nuances. Alex studied the patterns, trying to memorize them. It was overwhelming. Some combinations lasted only seconds, others changed rapidly. He was human, used to thinking in logic and predictability, not colors that flickered like liquid fire. "Focus," Lyra said. "The tail is like speech. Miss the meaning and you miss the message." The first exercise was simple: respond to a tail signal. Lyra flicked her tail toward him in a rapid blue-to-green shift. Alex pressed the correct button on the simulator. A chime sounded. Success. The next signal was trickier, a gold-red swirl that lasted half a second. Alex hesitated, guessed incorrectly, and a small puff of harmless smoke shot from the simulator. Lyra laughed, tail flicking joyfully. "You are slow, husband, but you are learning," she said, clearly amused. "This is acceptable for now." Alex rubbed the back of his neck. "I feel like I need another 100 eyes to follow your tail." "Humans adapt. That is why you are entertaining," Lyra replied, flicking her tail with a teasing flourish. After a few more rounds, Alex began to improve. His human brain, used to pattern recognition and improvisation, started noticing subtle cues. The way Lyra's tail started a color before the full shift, slight changes in movement, even her posture. By midday, he could predict some sequences correctly, earning a nod of approval from Lyra. "You are improving, husband," she said, her tail glimmering a soft green. "I am proud." Alex smiled. "Thanks, I think, but don't get used to calling me husband in public. People are already staring." Lyra twirled her tail around a nearby pole which made it shimmer in rainbow hues. "They are staring because I am proud of my husband. Let them stare. They will learn to respect humans." Alex rolled his eyes but felt a strange warmth. Somehow the teasing didn't feel annoying anymore. It felt like recognition. He had never been proud in the presence of so many aliens, yet Lyra's words made him feel important. By afternoon, Lyra introduced the second part of her husband duties: cultural immersion. Alex was to participate in alien social activities. First up, taste-testing alien foods. Plates appeared in front of him, each glowing with bright colors. Some smelled sweet, others pungent, and a few were almost metallic. Lyra explained the customs. "You must eat what is offered in the order presented. Taste, chew, and respond honestly. Flattery or refusal is offensive." Alex hesitated, then picked up a small, blue cube. He chewed carefully. It tasted like nothing he had ever known, like a combination of citrus, electricity, and honey. His eyes widened. "Interesting reaction, husband," Lyra said, tail flicking. "Not displeased, I see." Alex nodded. "It's fine, surprising but fine." They continued with more dishes. Some were simple, some were more challenging. A green, gelatinous sphere quivered on the plate, almost bouncing off his fingers. He tried a tiny bite and immediately coughed. Lyra laughed, her tail flaring gold and green. "Do not panic, that is normal. Humans are unprepared for our cuisine. Your reaction is charming. Alex groaned but secretly enjoyed the challenge. Eating alien food was messy, unpredictable, and slightly dangerous, but it was also fun. Lyra clearly enjoyed watching him navigate it. After lunch, the third activity began: teamwork and problem-solving. A minor emergency simulation was prepared for the station crew. A cargo pod had been damaged and had to be safely guided to the docking bay using limited energy supplies. Alex and Lyra were paired together. Alex's engineering skills and Lyra's cultural instincts were a perfect combination. "Follow my tail signals," Lyra instructed. "They indicate safe paths and potential hazards." Alex nodded. "Got it." The simulation began. The pod floated dangerously close to the walls of the station, energy sparking along its edges. Alex directed energy beams, rerouted circuits, and tapped the pod controls. Lyra's tail glowed gold and green, signaling when to adjust speed or angle. The pod wobbled perilously, but Alex stayed calm, using logic and observation. Lyra's guidance made the process smoother. Together, they safely navigated the pod to the docking bay. "Excellent work, husband," Lyra said, tail coiling in pride. "You are learning patience, precision, and cooperation." Alex felt a swell of pride. It was one thing to survive 7 days. It was another to excel in alien teamwork. For the first time, he felt that being Lyra's husband, even temporarily, was not just a joke. The day ended with a simple relaxation exercise. Lyra led Alex to the observation deck, where they watched a distant nebula swirl in pink, purple, and orange clouds. "This is my favorite view," Lyra said softly. "Humans rarely notice beauty in space. You do. That is impressive." Alex smiled faintly. "I guess some things are worth looking at even for humans." Lyra's tail flicked gently, glowing a calm green. "You are adapting, husband. By the end of 7 days, you may surprise even yourself." Alex chuckled. "I'm just hoping to survive the week without embarrassing myself too badly." "Embarrassment is part of learning," Lyra said, her tone playful. "And sometimes it is enjoyable too." Alex groaned, leaning against the railing. Somehow he had survived the first full day. He had eaten strange foods, learned tail signals, and guided a cargo pod through a simulation. And somehow, despite the absurdity of being called a husband, he had begun to respect Lyra and even enjoy her company. The station hummed softly around them. Alex realized that humans, clever and adaptable, could find a way to thrive even in the strangest of circumstances. And perhaps, just perhaps, being an alien's husband, even for 7 days, was a challenge he could meet. Tomorrow, Lyra promised, would bring new tasks. But tonight, Alex allowed himself a small sense of achievement. He had survived day one. And he was learning that being a husband, even a joke husband, wasn't as terrible as he feared. The morning sun filtered through the transparent dome of Aurora 9, painting the corridors in soft orange light. Alex rubbed his eyes, already feeling the weight of another day as Lyra's husband. He had survived 2 days, learned a few tail signals, tasted strange alien foods, and even helped navigate a simulated emergency. But today felt different. When he arrived at the recreation hall, Lyra was already waiting. Her tail shimmered in bright, excited colors, blue, green, and streaks of gold. She looked at him and smiled. "Good morning, husband. Today will be more interactive," she said. "You will participate in social and cultural exercises, as well as a teamwork challenge." Alex groaned silently. Interactive exercises usually meant public embarrassment in some form, and teamwork challenges often meant aliens expecting him to solve problems he barely understood. "Fine," he muttered, "I'll do my best." Lyra twirled her tail gracefully. "Your best is good enough, trust me." The first task of the day was a cultural dance exercise. Lyra's species communicated a lot through movement, and tail dancing was a key part of their social interactions. Today, Alex was to learn the basic steps and rhythms. He followed Lyra's movements as best as he could. His human legs were stiff, his arms flailing awkwardly, and his timing was off. Meanwhile, Lyra moved fluidly, tail weaving patterns in the air that glimmered in the hall's soft lighting. "Focus on the tail, husband," Lyra instructed. "It guides the movement. Copy the rhythm and respond to the signals." Alex tried again. This time he matched one step correctly and Lyra's tail shimmered gold in delight. She laughed, a musical sound that filled the hall. "You see, you are improving. Humans are clumsy but adaptable." "That is admirable," she said. Alex felt a small sense of pride. Perhaps clumsy humans could learn alien dances after all. Next came a group social exercise. Alex and Lyra were to participate in a discussion circle with aliens from different species. The goal was to share experiences and ideas, but in Lyra's culture, subtle cues, including tail movements, were critical for understanding intention and respect. As they sat in the circle, Alex noticed something. Some aliens looked at him skeptically, their eyes narrowing, tails flicking with suspicion. Others were curious, leaning forward as if waiting to see how this human would behave. Lyra whispered, "Observe first. Humans are often blunt. Our society values subtlety. Watch tails and body language carefully." Alex nodded. He listened, watching, and gradually learned how to respond. When one alien made a complex gesture with their tail signaling disagreement, Alex did not reply hastily. Instead, he waited, mirrored the movement slightly, and nodded. The alien relaxed, signaling approval. "Excellent," Lyra whispered, tail flicking in happiness. "You are reading signals. That is unexpected." Alex realized that humans had an advantage in this situation. Their patience and adaptability, skills honed by necessity, allowed them to read subtle cues once they paid attention. By the end of the exercise, Alex had earned the respect of several aliens in the group. Lyra's tail shimmered gold and green, indicating pride. Alex felt an unfamiliar warmth. Perhaps being her husband for 7 days was not just a joke, it was teaching him something valuable. After lunch, the real challenge arrived, a station-wide emergency simulation. A cargo transport had gone off course due to a system's malfunction, threatening to crash into a docking bay. Unlike the previous simulation, this one involved multiple aliens, all relying on Alex's problem-solving abilities and Lyra's guidance. "Focus, husband," Lyra said. "We must coordinate. Use both human ingenuity and tail communication. Failure is not an option." Alex nodded, adrenaline kicking in. The cargo pod floated dangerously close to walls, sparks flying from exposed circuits. He quickly analyzed the energy flow, directing it with precise adjustments while following Lyra's tail signals. "Increase power by 3%, Lyra flicked her tail, glowing gold. "Adjust angle 30 degrees, Alex followed. The pod wobbled dangerously but slowly began to stabilize. Other aliens watched in awe as the human and the alien coordinated flawlessly. Alex realized something surprising. His husband status, while initially humiliating, had given him a unique position. Lyra trusted him, and that trust allowed him to perform at his best. With a final adjustment, the cargo pod docked safely. The hall erupted in applause. Lyra's tail glimmered with a steady gold glow, signaling happiness and pride. "You did well, husband," she said softly. Alex exhaled. "We did well. Humans can't always do everything alone." Her smile widened. "No, but when humans and aliens work together, great things happen. You are beginning to understand." For the first time, Alex felt a genuine bond forming with Lyra. The tale that had once caused embarrassment now represented trust, cooperation, and teamwork. Later, Alex and Lyra retreated to a quiet observation deck overlooking the nebula. The colors swirled in cosmic patterns, and the soft hum of the station provided a serene backdrop. "Do humans often form partnerships so quickly?" Alex asked, genuinely curious. "Rarely," Lyra replied. "But humans are adaptable. You may not notice it, but your mind works differently from others. You improvise, predict, and adjust. That is valuable. Alex smiled faintly. I never thought my awkwardness would be useful. Useful, yes, Lyra said, and perhaps enjoyable. She flicked her tail, soft green and gold blending. I am learning to enjoy your company, husband. Alex felt heat rise to his cheeks. Enjoy my company. Yes, she said simply, her tail brushing gently along the deck. You are not predictable, and that makes life interesting. Alex laughed nervously. I guess being your husband isn't as terrible as I thought. Perhaps not, Lyra said, a teasing sparkle in her eyes. They spent the rest of the day exploring minor tasks together. Alex helped repair a small energy conduit while Lyra coordinated with other aliens to redirect power safely. He noticed how smoothly they worked together, humans and aliens, combining skill and intuition. By evening, Alex realized something remarkable. He had begun to understand alien culture in a way he never imagined. His joke had forced him into a position where he had to adapt, cooperate, and think beyond human limitations. And he had survived. Not only survived, he had excelled. Before the day ended, Lyra turned to him. Tomorrow, husband, you will face new challenges. More cultural exercises, perhaps more teamwork simulations, and certainly more surprises. Alex groaned but nodded. I'll do my best. I'm starting to actually like this in a strange way. Lyra laughed. That is the human spirit, clumsy, unpredictable, but capable of great things. I am beginning to see why humans survive so well in difficult situations. Alex looked out at the nebula again. Maybe being called a husband wasn't so bad. Maybe it was more than a joke. It was an opportunity to learn, grow, and even form an unexpected friendship with someone as remarkable as Lyra. The tail shimmered softly beside him, calm and steady now, signaling trust. Alex knew that tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight, he could rest, proud of what he had accomplished and curious about what the remaining days of this strange, intergalactic marriage might hold. For the first time, Alex felt that this adventure, born from a single careless joke, was turning into something unforgettable. And perhaps by the end of the 7 days, he would look back and realize he had gained more than he ever expected. A friend, a mentor, and maybe even a little courage he didn't know he had. The morning light of Aurora 9 filled the corridors with a warm glow, signaling the start of the 7th and final day of Alex's marriage to Lyra. He woke up feeling a mixture of relief and strange nostalgia. 7 days had passed since the accident of his careless joke, and in that time he had learned more about alien culture, teamwork, and even himself than he could have imagined. Sitting on the edge of his cot, Alex rubbed his temples. Today was the last day. After today, he would no longer be Lyra's husband, at least in the formal sense. But somehow, the thought of it ending made him feel bittersweet. He stretched, got dressed, and headed to the recreation hall, where Lyra was already waiting. Her tail shimmered in a calm, welcoming green, accented with gold, her version of a smile Alex had learned. Good morning, husband, she said. Today we finish with both a review and a celebration. Alex groaned dramatically. Review, celebration. You're making this sound like a test I have to pass before graduation. Lyra chuckled, tail flicking gracefully. Consider it a test of understanding and growth. And then a celebration for your effort. Alex braced himself, though he secretly felt a small thrill. After 6 days, he had learned to anticipate Lyra's movements, her tail signals, and even some of her teasing humor. Today, he hoped, would be enjoyable. The first part of the day was a review of what he had learned. Tail signals, cultural etiquette, teamwork exercises, all revisited in short bursts. Alex found himself performing better than ever. He reacted quickly to Lyra's tail colors, answered social prompts with subtlety, and coordinated with other aliens during mini-simulations with confidence. You are impressive, Lyra said, her tail glowing soft gold. Your adaptability and calm under pressure, humans may be underestimated, but you prove they can excel. Alex felt a flush of pride. I guess humans do have their moments. Yes, Lyra replied with a teasing flick of her tail. Even a clumsy human can become quite competent. By midday, the hall was filled with other station residents. Lyra had arranged a small celebration to mark the completion of the 7-day agreement. Alien foods, decorations that shimmered with light, and music that hummed softly filled the air. Alex felt a strange mixture of nerves and amusement. He had survived the challenges, learned Lyra's culture, and even made friends with several aliens along the way. Now, everyone was here to watch the final day, curious about the human husband. Lyra approached Alex, her tail curling around his arm in a gentle, ceremonial gesture. Today, husband, you are honored not just for surviving, but for learning, adapting, and respecting our ways. Alex swallowed hard. Thanks, I think I've learned a lot too. You have, Lyra said warmly, and perhaps you have taught others that humans are more capable than expected. Alex couldn't help but smile. The teasing, the training, the awkwardness, all of it had led to this moment. He had gone from a clueless human who made a joke about a tale to someone respected by aliens for his intelligence, courage, and adaptability. The final part of the day was a small task, symbolic rather than practical. Lyra handed Alex a small holographic sphere representing the station's energy network. Align this to the optimal frequency, she said. Do so carefully as it represents balance, understanding, and cooperation. Alex concentrated, using the skills he had honed over the past week. His fingers moved swiftly, making adjustments, checking feedback, and responding to subtle tail cues from Lyra. Slowly, the sphere stabilized, glowing evenly and radiating soft light. Lyra's tail flicked in rapid gold and green patterns, the highest form of praise. Excellent husband, you have mastered patience, observation, and cooperation. You are worthy. Alex grinned, feeling a sense of accomplishment he had never experienced before. I thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. You made the effort, Lyra said softly. You adapted. That is what matters. As the sun of the station set behind the distant nebula, the celebration began. Aliens and humans alike gathered to honor the completion of the 7-day agreement. Lyra led Alex to the center of the hall, tail swaying gracefully, while other residents clapped, cheered, and even whistled. You are no longer just a joke, Lyra said, her tail curling around his hand in a gesture of respect. You are a human who has earned understanding, trust, and friendship. Alex felt a warmth spread through him. He had survived the embarrassment, the challenges, and the surprises. He had gained something far more valuable than a week of ridiculous duties. He had gained respect, friendship, and confidence in himself. The other aliens stepped forward, offering gestures of congratulations. Alex bowed awkwardly, but he noticed smiles and approval in their expressions. Even those who had been skeptical now looked impressed. Later, after the crowd dispersed, Alex and Lyra stood together on the observation deck, watching the nebula swirl in brilliant colors. For a moment there was silence, comfortable, warm, and full of unspoken understanding. Tomorrow, I return to my duties, Lyra said softly. And you return to yours, Alex nodded, feeling a twinge of sadness. I'll miss this, you. The tale, the lessons, the everything. Lyra laughed lightly, her tail flicking in soft gold. You will survive. You humans are resilient, but perhaps you will remember this week. I will, Alex said sincerely. I never expected a joke about a tale to change so much, but it did, and I'm glad. Lyra's tail shimmered one last time, brushing lightly against his arm. Then, husband, thank you for your effort, your patience, and your willingness to learn. You are exceptional, Alex smiled, feeling truly seen and respected. Thank you, Lyra, for everything. And maybe if the next 7 days allow, we can be partners again, in friendship at least. Lyra laughed softly. Perhaps, husband, perhaps. As Alex returned to his quarters that night, he reflected on the past week. 7 days. A joke that became a bond. A human who survived alien customs, solved challenges, and grew in ways he never imagined. He lay in bed, looking out at the glowing nebula through his window. The station hummed softly, alive with life. And Alex knew one thing for certain: being her husband for 7 days had been more than a joke. It had been an adventure, a lesson, and an unforgettable experience that showed him what humans were truly capable of, even in the most unexpected alien circumstances. And perhaps in the vastness of space, with tails flicking and cultures clashing, humans could thrive and even bring a little humor, ingenuity, and heart to the universe. Alex smiled to himself, thinking of Lyra and her shimmering tail. 7 days might have ended, but the bond, the memories, and the lessons would last far longer. And somewhere deep inside, I said nice tail as a joke. He wouldn't mind being called her husband for 7 days, if only for the adventure.